and even going all the way forward. So Vertigo is really, I mean, the fact that we end up on this in what could be the most important match for these teams for the remaining year, that's insane.
Yeah, so you got Endpoint and Movistar Riders as well, of course.
Well, yes, of course.
I think Movistar being a bit more of a sell, I think, in terms of how their recent performances. A lot of noise being made towards the A side of things, and Mad Lions went for a 4-man stack for mid instead. This is a bit of an unorthodox setup, but this cheerleader stack, had it actually been met by some forZe aggression, could have been devastating. Going to be the other side, though. forZe, of course, starting on this T side, Molotov into the sandbags. They're going to clear things out and set up for an A side scaling.
It's going to be an empty A bomb site for them to be going into. There's only one grenade as well that is being held by Borp, so you don't have the double nade. Haha, you can't plant. Oh, Zorte through the smoke and jail responds, but that's the Borp being slapped on the side of the head. Grenade is going a bit too deep, but Kenzie's still going to be pretty heavily tagged up by it. Zorte, meanwhile, P250 keeping them at bay. They can't move through. They don't have the retake smoke either. The Mad Lions are really just locked out of this bomb site.
Oh, this is a real spooky one, real scrappy as well. No smokes, no kits either, and so they have to take these fights. Shalfie and Zorte are going to find 2 kills. The headshot as well in from Shalfie. Actually just damage onto Sorsol, and TMB has to try and cover, but Zorte in at the sandbags can just hold all the cards, knows that he has to peek at the right times. His teammate has to run and hide, and Zorte, if he gets flushed out, it would have been the game, would have been the round, but Sorsol gets both the kills towards the tail end, but it doesn't matter. They don't have a kit. They bought off too much time, and so forZe will take the pistol.
And that's the problem with cheerleaders, Michael. Even if they get the job done, sometimes you can just fall over after it's all finished. You get the kit, maybe something's different over there. Grenade, decently placed, but it just feels like from the very beginning of things, you can sort of see that hesitation coming up from Mad Lions as a team who maybe doesn't know exactly how they want to play it out if their stack doesn't work for them. You know, in that situation, if you want to go for the retake, if you know that you'll probably be put in that position, you want to see the kit come through, maybe a smoke as well, to be able to try and proceed forward without the threat of Zorte from the sandbags being overwhelming. But no, at the end of it all, forZe, they lose their players, but they get the round. Not to mention, one last thing, they even get extra money because, of course, the bomb ends up blowing up. So, you know, even that one player saving armor is not that significant, but Waro and TMB combining their hands to get a couple of kills sure as hell are.
Trying to get his hands on the M4. TMB on a path to recovery and has another smoke as well, so he could escape. forZe on exactly, pressuring it heavily, but TMB cut down before he could even consider a retreat. forZe gonna try and get his hands on an M4 as well. Don't know if it was shot over the side or not. Seems to be the case. Doesn't have it equipped at all, and out in the open, Nori will capitalize. Oh, great kill there from Jail. That's a bomb dropped as well. These players are tagged here on the side of forZe, and Jail can continue to pressure. If he gets another, that would have been devastating. But now a 2-on-1, one that Borp will have to read into. There is a kit dropped. Weapons to be recovered as well, as forZe are looking to get out of there and rotate B.
Of course, we've had a very low conversion rate for this round so far, but Mad Lions seem like despite a couple of very important kills coming through, we'll still be in a position where Borp is just not ready to rotate over towards that B bomb site. Can he just save a weapon error?
Here's the util, but still not convinced. Yeah, Galil will be the best that he musters up. Spots the kit as well, I think.
Borp.
Yeah, I think he's looking for the M4 that I think was shot outside of the map.
Shame. So already Galil's basically an M4 just with tracers.
And I mean, it does less damage. Spray's a little bit harder to manage, less accurate.
So basically the M4, okay, got it.
Well, just worse in every regard, and it's cheaper. So I mean, expected. True. But great navigation away from the threat in that A site. We've seen some of the headshots that Borp's been able to deliver in this series. Had the stat as well, courtesy AZ-esque. Pretty on the money with some of these niche statistics. And in spite of the low conversion rate, forZe are able to bring it through, albeit at a heavy loss to their own money. So you can see the SMG brought forward here for Jerry. Look to him to be the first man into bomb sites. Try and command his troops from the front. I'm already not too convinced here from the Mad Lions CT side. We've already seen, and this is now the second time we're seeing a kind of, it looked like they were posturing up for a gimmicky stack. I don't know if they're going to fall into that as a crutch.
The other thing for me is that I might be mischaracterizing it a bit because, you know, at the end of the day, I do still feel like this is very much predicated of today's maps and not necessarily of what we saw before. But Mad Lions is a little bit more reliant so far on being cohesive and having their comms right. You know, the kind of plays that War is going for, the kind of flanks that he's going for in Inferno, for example. You know, these things don't work unless you're really, really all aligned. Kenzie, man, he's getting some great shots out against his anti-eco.
Yeah, super clean.
Yeah, but if you're in that position, you suffer more than the team that's saying, hey, just default and then flash for me to get the quick entry, and then, you know, we'll throw and execute together. That team recovers more effectively in a map they're uncomfortable on, compared to a team which is heavily reliant on communication and getting the right flank timings and, you know, having the right utility in the right places to enable that flank timing, all of those things together.
Yeah, it can be a hard little balancing act for teams, especially on maps you're going to be unfamiliar with. Like, how do you compact the communication enough that it can just be nice, snappy, flash here, I'm moving here, delay. These small things where, you know, it almost comes down to instinct about how you react to these calls. We're going to have to see if Mad Lions can put it together. Again, emphasis will be, I think, on this CT side. So far, forZe look pretty well composed in the way that they're approaching their T-side defaults, though. Wrong methodology. 2 players at B, 2 in middle for this round. And that's open territory. Mad Lions aren't exactly respecting that area of the map. Oh, very aggressive play there from JL. So much damage being done by Waro in the meantime as well. Zorte, Norway, neither player healthy. They have got this open territory, and Borb's at least considering it.
Kenzie right underneath Borup is going to have to be very careful about where he's keeping an eye out. Borup reveals the fact that he's backed off. That sound cue will be registered. Kenzie will register them into a bit of a death camp as well. Kenzie just trying to turn around and get another, but now he's converged upon from all sides. But the distraction is enough for Jail to be taken down. Waro gap in the smoke, but Shelfie will still be quick to trade. A 2-on-2 now. Tease cannot get the bomb down just quite yet. At least that's what they think, but with no offensive utility, that would have been the case. CT is getting aggressive. They can stop it from being planted, but the shots are being missed. They can't line it up, and Shelfie now going for the bomb plant, fakes it out, and Zorte is the one who cleans it all up.
Oh, this is such a scrappy round. The execute's there from forZe. You know, they get all the smokes that they need to down. The flank comes through as well. They can effectively sandwich the site player, but it's a bit miscommunicated. They're not able to find this backstab effectively. And so it just ends up this back and forth flurry of frags. Both those forZe players were so low. And in spite of that, Mad Lions cannot pull through, not even finding one more additional player. So now forZe, they've got 4 in a row in spite of a couple of these rounds being close.
Oh no, this is where you thought for a second Kenzie and company could have been overwhelmed, but that's Waro who's coming. He's got an AK as well. There's been good damage dealt by nades, but Jerry and Norway will stop any semblance of aggression. Yeah, Michael, this is it. Punching and punching.
It's like anytime they think they've got the leg up, frying the gonads. And it's been go, go, go for the nades for Mad Lions. That's what's peppered these forZe players down so low. Puts them in one-shot territory for these Deegs. So that's where that extra air of caution comes from here on the side of forZe. TMB is peering forward to see if he can find a timing. Nori caught out. TMB trying to escape, and Jerry will hunt him. Just on JL, and whether he reads on whether this is an A-side hit or not, they're still worried about the flank.
There's so much time, and they know JL's traditionally been playing over towards that B bomb side. That's what they figured out from the past few rounds at the very least when he got aggressive early in. Smoke out. Their call, whatever they want to do, they can go wherever they want to go. B bomb site. A bomb site. JL though, you gotta respect it. He's committed.
He's a statue. Oh, God.
Well, I mean, you hear what they do to statues these days?
Yeah, tipping him over.
Indeed, taking him down.
Man, these have been far from convincing rounds from either team. You could see Mad Lions are applying the right amount of pressure as well to, I think, really scare forZe to a halt. But it's the counter reactions and this late round reading here from Mad Lions that has kind of suffered. You could see what the plan was from TMB about taking initiative. Now double AWPs out for Mad Lions, and JL hits the shot even while blind. Timing is great. First clean advantage I think Mad Lions have had. No one in compromising positions either, so counter plays aren't exactly there in troves. These are
forZe, however, are just going to keep on freezing in, just waiting, cutting all noise, hoping the Mad Lions will become antsy. And you can see that happening in some regards, but credit where it is due, you are not pushing into them. The 5-1-4 principle being very much maintained by the Mad Lions. As mad as they may be, they are not quite insane.
Yeah, it's just the fact that all these rounds are going to be hard to read because I don't think Mad Lions will have anticipated this map even plays in the series. And this is exactly where we find ourselves. Nades are sailing over towards the A side of the map, Molotovs as well to clear out some of these more troublesome positions. Counter nade from TMB could be rather chunky, and yeah, Zorte brought to 36.
He's not going to be happy about that at all. Waro as well in position. They don't have the flashes necessary to force him off unless they want Zorte to be playing from behind, and that's where TMB's got timing, but Kenzie's got the frag. The clock won't matter to Kenzie, and he keeps on going. Keeps forZe away from this alley, and as he's translating forward, there's no flashes, but forZe will be traded because of it. Waro as well caught out, and Mad Lions are falling apart. Their defense will falter. Their advantage will not matter.
They had 4 players on that bomb site. An effective 4-on-4. Borup, he's in charge of B, and he's locked it. Hasn't moved a muscle, hasn't felt pressured. And in spite of all that, with the time ticking low, that bomb could not afford to be thrown on the ground. And it doesn't. forZe just keep on keeping on, getting all the kills they need to as they scale in. Man, that looked like Mad Lions had that one in the palm of their hand. But I'm just so surprised that Kenzie's able to 180 in time to deal with that first player that's kind of pressuring him towards that short lane. It's a crazy shot to hit. I think that basically wins the round for forZe.
Effectively, and when forZe isn't able to get more than one in that position, you can see how wary forZe was when he's trying to back off and get around the corner. Then afterwards, he hears Kenzie, thunderfooting towards him. He thinks, okay, I've got to go for the swing. That's where he just gets caught out. The trade's always going to be there. You're swinging that heavy with an M4A1. Against 2 players, yeah, man, very hard to make that work.
Yeah, that narrow edge we would have given to forZe, the fact that they were the ones that had that last ban, seems to be paying off so far.
Yeah, it's made it a bit of a wider advantage on the map itself, especially considering this is T side.
Yeah, the side that often gets the most scrutiny for teams that pick it. Of course, you always have to start that side. I feel like Mad Lions need a few of these set plays, and getting aggro has worked out so far. Tag onto Borup doesn't do that much damage. So much of the wall taking the brunt of the damage.
Good nade. Gonna be forcing him back. He can't re-aggress through. Now TMB's the one who's trying to get something done, and he's got the shot. Moves forward, long hands, but not quite long enough. Especially with the resmoke coming out from the CTs. Oh, they steal it away. The jump up to get it done as well. AK still in the hands of Borup. He'd like to be a little bit more active. I'm still a little bit confused because it seems like Mad Lions have not decided who their anchor on the B-bomb side is yet. Is it Jail? Is it Borup? We're going to figure that out as we go. Could be that he had the AK this round, which is why you see him rotating, but even so.
That's the case. Well, now that both those players are going to receive some pressure, forZe are postured up for a B-side exec, and Jail's up close with the 5-7. If Borb's able to distract even for a moment, that could open the opportunity for the 5-7. Jail springs out, and Borb trying to get these taps in, but both will fall. forZe is here in time. In fact, both of them are, but it doesn't really matter if forZe doesn't deliver the goods, and he gets back-to-back headshots. The round falls apart from there. It's the Deegs that deliver for Mad Lions, and a first for the CT side.
And forZe didn't even land that first shot. It looked like he'd lost control. You were even beginning to say that he didn't deliver, Michael, and I don't blame you for it. Those two shots, man, this is insane. The reset time just right for Jerry to be going into a fully recoil reset deagle. You dropped the bomb, 9 seconds left. That was what we've been waiting for to happen since Overpass, Michael. forZe at 9 seconds just dropped the bomb.
And maybe dropping the ball for this half. Of course, so many of these close rounds, you can see that money not exactly in a safe position here from forZe on the reinvestment. This is reset territory. Trying to see the path open up here for Mad Lions to spur in a few CT rounds.
Oh, what a shot from Zorde. Just a quick boost up, and he's got the angle written on the palm of his hand.
That's nasty.
That is nice. And Chensi's got to be careful, because on the other side, you've got about to contest with another man who's getting ready for the peak, but Kenzie finds forZe, the hero of the previous hour, will now be left without any hours on his name. Sam's run out, Borup fully flash, not checked yet, and he'll be able to get a quick kill. It even peeked up, and Zorde is fast on the AWP, can't get the second. Jerry compensates.
Oh, they get caught out by two simultaneous boosts. At the very minimum, War is able to get one on the retreat, but you can't imagine that he really goes for this. Surely not. Maybe they're expecting some moment of heroism, but there will be a flank that will be activated at some point or another. Kenzie has wrapped through that A bomb site, so there is no safe haven.
Well, I want to see Jerry jumping around the corner of that cinder block just to shoot him down. Give it to me, Jerry. But no, not quite. Waro instead is going to be giving us a duel versus Zorte. That duel will be postponed. Kenzie has penciled over that calendar, said, you know what, you've got a date with me right now. Don't turn your back to me.
And you can see Mad Lions were kind of privy to at least that first boost. It's just the fact that it's there with an AWP. Typically, this is a rifle that goes for boosts like that. But instead, it's Zorte on the entries. 2 boosts from forZe to break into B.
Look, man, that's Zorte giving the call that boost me here. I'm going to get a kill, I'm telling you.
Yeah, why not? It feels so difficult to pick into that B bomb site with an AWP. Yeah. So many different angles I have to worry about. But that is great. Saved it all from, or rather, reinvestment from Waro. Already showing some impact at the start of this round. So now another one of these clean advantages that Mad Lions can work off of. The last time this happened, though, they fell like flies defending a bomb site.
Very annoying, and you can't kill them. Well, no, not quite. Turns out it's a different kind of flies. Waro is dead. All right.
They've put in the prep work. They've been practicing. This is their permaban.
They've been... I mean, I don't know if I'd say they've been practicing. They've definitely been pugging. That is for sure. Shelfie moving past. It's JL to be caught out and brought down.
That doesn't look like pugging to me. Shelfie, very, very aware. There's tricky angles you can take over that B bomb side. Jerry almost getting caught out. That could have been a equalizing frag, and Jerry's just trying to keep them distracted. Meanwhile, Kenzie's picked out in middle, so it's 3-on-3 regardless.
35 seconds and forZe is getting into that dangerous territory once again. Mad Lions in position with forZe, who's going to have to be the one to make a move. Jerry this slow means Jerry could be the casualty to come through. forZe will not falter the way TMB did earlier on. This time, able to get it done. But the quick peek out from Shelfie as he heard the pin being drawn. There's 18 seconds. They don't have a smoke. For them to get onto this bomb site to get a bomb plant in itself is going to be pretty wondrous. But right now, Shelfie picks up a smoke from the ground, can start to move through. Jerry misses the shot, and that could be the round gone. No time left. Shelfie's going to fight his way out there, not pushing through. It's going to be TMB. The staggered peek through the smoke was able to get it done.
Yeah, it took just an extra second to make sure that there was no more time to re-go for that plant. It had to be a re-stick. And it's all started off with that pick from Waro. systematically finding one-for-one duels on the force side. You know, Jerry's going for a lurk play over towards A. kenzie as well is trying to wrap through middle. Madline's just able to get the better of all of those respective kills. And once again, that pathway opens up for reset on this T side. I mean, they're on pistols. This is the weakest buy we've seen so far from forZe. So Madlines need to bring this forward in a convincing enough fashion that they can sustain themselves for rounds to come.
At the same time, you can definitely see a deagle when going one way. Well, that goes both ways. That nade's going to help, though. JL with the MP9 set up for success now because of that grenade. Flashes the smokers. Not going to phase him as he quickly peeks out over. Frag found, but now in a very tricky situation where he's being tagged in through the plywood. That plywood, though, is now met by a Molotov. Somehow it doesn't get burnt. It's fireproof.
Yeah, +2 heat resistance. What about boots he equipped?
What doesn't wear boots, Michael? Same Dota.
Oh. Well, a couple flashes. That's all they've really got here on the side of forZe, and they're going to try and creep their way in. Nade from TMB is pretty well timed. It will go a little too deep, and JL will alleviate the pressure. No problems here for Madlines. I said they needed a convincing round, and they don't lose a single player. JL was the one that kicked it off, and he finishes off the job.
That's quite a nice shot.
Yeah.
That fadeaway.
Very swift with it.
forZe also being forced to save, like you mentioned, Michael. Money's gone. Now, question is, what's the call going to be? I would not hate just a quick smoke execute onto the A bomb stack. Try and get a bomb planted. I'm slightly surprised, actually, that we're seeing JL play on towards the B bomb site. Honestly, from what we saw in Inferno, with how dynamic he can be with different angles and whatnot, it seems more like an A side kind of player. But speaking of the A side, it's going to be free kills all over it with CT side.
Well, back-to-back full surviving rounds here for Madlines. Love to see it as a CT side, and especially as we're approaching the tail end of this first half, Madlines won't want to encounter any issues where the funds are concerned. It's instead more the action of forZe. So much winning means that loss bonus doesn't get accrued. With Madlines answering back, they're almost at max. We need to see some of these clean kickoffs once again here for Madlines. Typically, it's been the AWPs going for it, but this double mid play for Madlines could be great. kenzie is alone for this, but he comes away with the first, actually trading positions. Shelfie is there to cover the retreat, and so is Zorte. They had many players nearby here on the side of forZe to maintain this mid presence. But
oh my god, what?
Oh no, he missed the shot. Switching out. It's not going to be enough. That's an absolute blunder. Madlines lose out on so many of these fights over at A, and now it's only JL on an AWP.
Waro just gave away the round right there. Could have prevented his teammate from dying, and he just gets flustered. JL, I mean, is it even worth it saving this up at this point? Waro's going to be kicking himself for that one. That could be the decider as well, Michael. Just such a crucial moment. forZe will find 8. Madlines, that's momentum taken away from them as well. That's a win knocked out of your sails if you're Waro.
Yeah, critical miss. I mean, Jerry just shouldn't be able to get away with this kill, man.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The panic just set in.
Yeah, that one sucks. Oh, that's painful. Good news for Madlines is that they had those sustained buys in previous rounds. So they have had that money buffer. You know, we're approaching the tail end of this half, but not out of the woods just yet. They really want to recover what little they can moving into that second half because we don't know what their T side will offer. kenzie has won his mid fight once again, but there's JL to at least pick up the pieces. So it's a 4-on-3 right off the jump. They're so close to this A ramp smoke. This is scary signs here for Madlines. They want to maintain control.
And Sossol's getting ready for a flash push through, but it's Zorte on the other side who's missing an opportunity. Even so, equalization comes from the hands of Norway. And forZe, they've reset, waiting for Sossol now to strike through. They've got a couple of Molotovs, won't be using them to clear out sandbags. It's inside the smoke they go. Borp He's hoping to be the distracting force to make sure that his teammate can run away if need be, but that distracting force is just a force in general. Finds himself those 2 quick kills, and Mad Lions will make sure that force can't get away with 2 in a row, not a game.
Man, so crisp there from Borup, just to create that additional level of tension where even if they wanted to clear out the sandbags, be a bit more methodical in their approach, forZe would have had to deal with Borup in their face. We're shaping up for a potential where forZe lose this one. They won't have an ideal buy moving to the last round of the half. So we could see a nice little 7-8 round off here from the Mad Lions. Oh, God. Wara was trying to bait for that exact peak as well. Borup got so close. They make steps intentionally, but Shalfie's just keeping his awareness, his wits about him. That's not how that one's supposed to go.
My only question right now is, Michael, are we about to see the forest crumble? Seen it a couple of times over this series. Overpass, they managed to stave it away. Right now, you lose this round out. Mad Lions are getting ready for an 8-7 now. Advantage is there, like you mentioned earlier, Michael. Of course, Mad Bait and Switch helping out, but the problem for Mad Lions is that they're stacked on the incorrect bomb sets, so it all comes down to JL on that secondary AWP and what he can deliver. He's trying to cheat past the smokes. The Molotov's going to buy him a bit more time as the bomb can't be planted yet, but JL is hoping they misstep right into his crosshair. Still nothing revealed, and he's tagged and he's forced back. This is perfection from forZe as far as knowing the angles is concerned at the very least. Waro is going to have such a hard time moving back onto this bomb side, missing out on a chance. Will re-peek forward. Zorte is down. Jerry will trade the max 10 close range. Will get more damage. It's Norby to be the next exchange. Still, Shalfie and Kenzie alive and yet to reveal their positions. Shalfie waiting for the peak to come out. The smoke means that he's going to be isolated away from his teammate for a while longer. Wara moves fast. Misses the shot. Kenzie is going to end up giving them that round. The second he finds the frag, Soulsoul just doesn't have the space to work with. forZe get the 9th.
Yeah, now Mad Lions don't have exactly the funds to reinvest into this one. You can see that this opening is just so clean here from forZe, and then when they break into the bomb site, even with players kind of giving up free offerings. I think Zorte not quite realizing that he was exposed from the jump up position from middle. That could have really turned the table there for Mad Lions, but then they just all clustered up together, so forZe had firm information on every single one of the remaining players. Now they need something different, something special here on the Mad Lions. Soulsoul playing up close. Another player around the smoke. It's Kenzie. But Soulsoul makes noise. He spams away. And so this is a free one for Kenzie, something that wasn't accounted for.
And that's a rifle gone as well. Now TMB's only got a CZ as he sits and waits around the corner. Not had the most success in this angle either, if we're being honest. He's been caught off guard a couple of times over. This time, Norby will see him facing right towards himself, but even if he's not caught off guard, he's still caught out. Looking down. Norby is trying to move past. Wara will find him. JL doubles up as well. Suddenly, all advantage is gone.
You say that, but there's the flank from Shalfie. They had no idea that this was coming. Borup completely sideswiped, and Jerry's right behind him. Bomb is dropped on the low ground, and Mad Lions have swarmed it.
This is where Wara's position is going to be everything. The fact that he's moved right back to the sandbags is massive. JL as well is the one who's being worried about a flank to come through. The problem that Wara hasn't foreseen is the fact that there's already players moved into alley. He's being very careful about it. Molotov comes through. That's Wara caught out. No smoke either. So it all comes back to JL. 2 kills so far. Has to double it up. He's moving back to aggress, but can't get it done. Jerry gives them the 10th, and we're going to have to go to a break to see whether or not Mad Lions can bring it back.
Cause no one makes me feel the way you do now. Like you do now. The way that you move your body, you make it look like a hobby. Every time that you touch me, it's electricity. Things we discovered underneath last night's covers. Everything came so easy. It's electricity. Electricity. Whoa. It's electricity. it's late at night, I feel you on my skin. My skin, you're all that's on my mind. It's finally sinking in. You're it. I know you're feeling different when you're stressed out, but even with no makeup you still stand out. Cause no one makes me feel the way you do now. Like you do now. That you move your body, you make it look like a hobby. Every time that you touch me, it's electricity. Things we discovered underneath last night's covers. Everything came so easy, it's electricity. You move your body, you make it look like a hobby. Every time that you touch me, it's electricity. Things we discovered underneath last night's covers. Everything came so easy, it's electricity. Electricity. It's electricity. You move your body, electricity. You move your body.
You take me higher and higher and higher, baby. When you sit next to me, I can barely breathe. Higher and higher and higher, baby. I need you all the time. Say that you will be mine.
Hold up, wait, back again. So high up, need oxygen. Party over here, girl, bring a friend. I love the way your hair blow in the wind. Girl, I hope we never end.
Turns out unfamiliar territory is pretty damn hard to traverse if you're a Lion. Mad Lions down 5-10 against forZe. I'm T. I'm joined by Michael Yumi Cassidy in the fight for the Pro League Conference.
Yeah, a bit of a tumultuous start, but forZe really got the ground underneath them, and now Mad Lions are trying to do exactly that. Fast pace straight through middle, but it's into a crossfire. kenzie does go 1-for-1, but Zorte's trying to alleviate that pressure down to 1 HP. But this B bomb site, no, actually, in fact, it's the A-Rap in from Mad Lions. They're trying to make quick work of it, and Jerry does actually get one on the exit, so whittles down the numbers even more, but still 3-on-2, and Jerry's low. JK, just one player left, and Nori left with that kit will get caught in transition. Mad Lions get off to a hot start, just stampeding straight through the pistol.
And that's one way to make a call. Just rush down mid, have every single option available to you, and you start to wonder, oh my god, if the cheerleader stack that Mad Lions themselves had run in their pistol round was there for forZe, that could have been Mad Lions ripped apart.
Yeah, it's like they countered their own pistol strategy.
Yeah, all right, guys, we only know one pistol strategy, and it's ours. Counter it.
Now full investments into Deagles. So Mad Lions pressure forZe continuously at the start of this game on half buys. Their full buys as well were really contentious, but it didn't stop forZe from getting up to a 6-0 start. Mad Lions can get that same level of composure. Oh, spam is great. Shalfie's immediately dealt with. Jerry jumped away from the boost, so not taking too much tagging himself, but clean entry.
Straight back into alley. Doesn't want to give it up. We saw forZe and TMB turning and rounding that corner a few too many times where they did end up getting caught out by a stray swing, but Norway's going to be privy to that.
These smokes ain't gonna last forever. And they're re-aggressing, but War is around the side of the smoke, and so catching players in behind. It's not quite a significant flank, but enough that it creates some space.
kenzie and Zorda just aren't ready for being able to stop this down unless kenzie gets a quick one on the Waro, who's just hyper-aggressing on top of it. kenzie finds Waro, takes him down, but there's still no kits. So if you want to get back into it, you've got to get back onto it fast.
They're all running out of ammo in these digs. They're just spamming away so furiously. kenzie, his last few bullets could be the case. Does on another tag, another one in fact, and JL will at least trade things out. So Mad Lions, they keep 2 afloat. The forZe making a pretty good effort of it in spite of the fact that they lose his players so quickly. It's Woro that really brings back that significant numbers advantage. If he doesn't find those 2 kills, then it could have been really dangerous stuff. But he seems to be the man that takes initiative on these T sides, you know, and inserts himself into the back lines when he can.
Let's also not forget, while we did talk about how very often the T side for teams can be pretty shaky when they're not playing a map, the ZT side can be pretty damn hectic in Vertigo as well. We saw how often Mad Lions were flustered about, hey, where do we go for information? How do we rotate? What do we really do over here? And if we start to see things like that from forZe, all I'm going to say is I saw Inferno. Okay, that's a spot you don't want to see forZe walking down. Kenzie, though, is walking down his last spot. Dead in an alleyway. Maybe it's going to be bad. Ooh.
No problems here for Mad Lions. Oh, yeah. Nice and easy. Mid lurk as well from Borup. Finds the last kill. Mad Lions off to a 3-0 start. Here's where the weapons come out here for forZe, and they've opted for a whole lot of scopage. Seems like they'll favor these long-range fights. Augs and AWP will grace this CT start. And that means that they will be missing out on a couple of crucial bits of utility. You know, they're missing out on Molotovs, some smokes as well. When it comes to flushing Mad Lions out of position, especially when they're setting up for proper executes, they might actually have to throw their bodies at the problem if they want to deal with it. Jerry getting spammed already, but does find himself in at that back pillar.
Oh, careful. TMB, there's a gap in that smoke, and Jerry is exploiting it. Spam goes forward as well. Nothing else to find off the back of it, but Jerry is making sure that alley cannot be controlled or contested. JL, however, has found his way back to his old stomping grounds. Shelfie. Well, and Zorte, well, just about avoids his own demise.
Went for the fight, and Borb gets 2 as a result. Zorte dealt with in the rotate as well, but Jerry's now the last man standing. Does have a kit that can be recovered, but there's still 3 players around the corner. Soso spotting players out. Jerry, I mean, what else can you do but retreat from this shadow? Given up, and he tries to get one before falling back. It will be Mad Lions once again, this time cracking into that B bomb site, in spite of the fact they start that man down. This lurk from JL was great. He got the kill on Kenzie, but then the awareness as well to clear all of these angles. It seemed like Shelfie would have had his number. You know, it felt like a bit of an off position considering that B bomb site had been taken. Or rather, your anchor had been dealt with.
Might have just pulled out a smoke for a second too, but I didn't quite catch that in the replay.
It went a bit silly. The man had an AUG and he was holding the right angle. It could have been a timing. That is certainly a possibility. And so is the fact that Mad Lions are going to tie things up. Double digits are upon us.
Very quick way to get there as well. I mean, considering this is starkly different to what we saw from forZe, who were just waiting things out very often the 8th second before getting in onto the bomb site. Kenzie, full blind, grenade at his feet, and he's in the air. Michael Jordan, who? I've got hang time for days. Oh, good nade.
Yeah. He get a lineup from middle instead. Smoke doesn't quite hit the mark, but does its job. It does mean that it separates Woro from TMB. Couldn't quite cover him off, set up a crossfire. In fact, he'll tempt himself with the idea that once the smoke fades, there'll be 3 players right in front of him.
Oh, he's got the Mac 10 as well. This could be just ripping them apart, but he's not getting the frag stolen away by the AK. Stossel wants to secure rather than procure money.
Yeah, it was down to those last 2 players, but just the position there from TMB was too advantageous. Even if Soso hadn't gotten all of those kills, they could have found up all that extra cash on the Mac 10. Down to a tie game, and it seems like these T sides might, in fact, be where things are a little bit more solidified. And you're right, it is a stylistic difference. forZe playing heavy defaults, very stylistically similar to a lot of their other maps in the pool, but Mad just so pacey about how they're approaching these rounds. They sense a bit of weakness and they just keep on pushing forward. Shalfie has found a kill on the AWP, and once again, this one-way will be used. I mean, Jerry can't get away with that time in, time out. Now a 5-on-3 for forZe on the jump.
And forZe have got nowhere they actually have map control over in exchange for this either. It's not like, you've got ramp control off the back of losing 2 players. Maybe you force back people. No. forZe literally basically, rather I meant to say Mad Lions, but forZe literally don't have to move at this point, effectively. Got every single angle locked down. You've got a player in alley, a player watching out for ramp, mid's covered. Where do you go if you're these 3 players of Mad Lions? And they've got lots of utility, so you want to make a play, you're relying on that, but is that protocol going to be there? Good Molly.
Molly hits him as well, so they know that he was exactly in that position. Thought his ult is here in time, though, and the nade is great.
Jordan's position is going to be contested by a elevated angle from the AWP. And they start to peek forward, but the smokes are deployed first. Mad Lions going onto the bomb side. They've got the first, but Jerry and Zorte, quick kills in succession. War is the last man standing, and as good as he's been, this might be too much for even him. Straight back out from Jerry, and he's got it done.
Yeah, Shadow gave up Jerry's position, but good awareness to just keep on swinging as well, just in case that he was going to take up that bomb. And once that was on his back, there was a signal given up. And that's the second time now we've seen a bit of punishment round one-way smokes over at that short position. The scaffolding can be rather dangerous. A lot of tricky plays you can go for on the CT and T side alike, just depending on whether or not you get the spawn there, whether or not you deploy some of that early sort of T side utility. Got to be quick about it. Nori's already picked one off. They're not going to fight as heavily for ramp control, but they know that Nori's in a completely committed position. He got himself out. Okay. Nobody holding it there on the side of Mad Lions, and more nades will pepper them lower and lower. In fact, spam being reciprocated.
Oh, here. That's a wonderful reciprocation on Nori. It's a lot more damage than they were ready for. That grenade as well. It's going to be big, but unfortunately, it's right with the Molotov, so the grenade doesn't do as much as it could have been because the Opera already started forcing himself off because you can hear the burning projectile of the Molotov as opposed to an incendiary especially. Kenzie down and out, so back to a 4v4. Suddenly, forZe are losing out members, so Norby's position over here is going to be everything. If you can find this frag on a TMB, there's going to be something to say about forcing rotations to B bomb site, but instead, you're going to have Mad Lions once again equalizing. I'd be surprised if forZe want to go for a retake considering they've picked up both their ops.
Yeah, Jail getting another pick and just them threatening the idea of moving back to B. You could see forZe on those heavy rotations. Nori could do nothing but try and hold on to what little he could attain on that site considering he was low HP himself. Good recognition there for Mad Lions. Even if they spread themselves a little thin, reading into how forZe were going to react to all of that pressure mounting over at A, only for that to be quickly taken away. Oh yeah, if they can save these double ops, they can facilitate another buy. But Mad Lions will get back into winning ways. forZe did get one. It's only a blip on the radar. Only a tiny crack in the wall.
Of course, that crack in the wall can still be let right open, but you still need someone shaking the damn wall. The problem is Norby's sitting on 8 and 20. He's not going to show up. Like you said before, a player who the analysts have centered a lot of their discussion around.
I think a lot of that criticism has been, it's been deflected. I think Nori has overall been impressive. He's shown some good stuff throughout the series as well. But yeah, a pretty, I would say, slow start, but hasn't been able to quite deliver in the same way that you would kind of hope, especially when you've got so many of these rowdy youngbloods.
And look, unfortunately, those rowdy youngbloods overall, they're putting up some decent showings, but nothing flashy. Shalfie needed flashiness right there. Borup But the MAC-10 is going to be the trade, but they're more than happy with it, especially when Zorte misses the follow-up. He's had a couple of these, but Norway comes into the fray. He can compensate, bring it straight back. They're willing to rotate their players from A very quickly onto the B bomb side, but maybe that's what Mad Lions are looking to exploit.
Yeah, very reactive, and you can see them moving back over towards A. The problem is they're going to have to clear out so many nooks and crannies. Even if you think that this could be a clear site, you don't want to let something slip on by. You want to clear out tough positions like the sandbags. You want to clear scaffolding, make sure that nobody is in your face before you set up this execute. They have the utility to actually push this one through. So now forZe have reset their defenses.
Seconds. This is a great time for Norway to be trying.
Setting up for anti-plant nades.
Double grenades would be great, and Norway's got TMB. Norway even follows up through the smoke. Blip in the radar is going to be a couple more blips, Michael. Eventually, it ends up being a full-on UFO, but Soso's unidentified. He's flying through their heads, but can't quite make the descent. If he got that frag, totally different ballgame.
That's like the second or third time we've seen that boost up on the site actually find kills here on this T side, and you almost thought Soso could have had it. He read into the positions great, but just couldn't navigate the spray in time. Oh, that would have been a crazy sequence if he got the third, but not to be. forZe creeping their way back into the lead. Oh, this really could go either way. Mad Lions have been pretty successful when they've been able to get these early man advantage starts. But now, especially with Norway coming into the fray, you know, you kind of call him. You call on him a little bit, say like, oh, Norway, he's not performing. And then he makes up for the Zorte miss. He rotates A effectively. You know, they set up for the double nade stack. No, I'm not saying that your critique wasn't valid.
All I'm saying is, Michael, I just said analysts have been talking about it.
Yeah, no,
like,
I know.
You know.
And I'm the one that pushed that point too.
Of course.
I think I think this forZe side have definitely undergone a lot of scrutiny, considering the heights they reached with the old veteran roster. You know, that same the old Jerry squad. It's part of what's making him look more and more like a very convincing in-game leader, one that's going to be hard to attain for, I imagine, many organizations. I don't think forZe will want to let him go.
In all fairness, Michael, the other thing to also keep in mind is the fact that, you know, very often we sort of overblow how far the old forZe also got to. I think they only peaked at about 17 in the world or something around that. I might be wrong. I'm actually just going to go check that one out right now. They were always a convincing team that got a couple of very good victories out. But even what this forZe have done so far, you know, getting in the top 30 this quickly with such a fresh lineup, with such fresh players,
yeah,
it is very, very impressive. I mean, even the fact that you're over here fighting for contention for ESL Pro League Conference to be one of the potential favorites going into it, that's insane for a team this young.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is as well, right? It's a completely, it feels like a different system. There are some similarities, especially when you look at how they're approaching these late round scenarios, but it's not just about shoveling all your resources into one player. You know, we're not seeing like a VPS sort of approach to the AWP. Instead, it feels far more dynamic, but that's exactly what Mad Lions have in troves. I talked about the fact that all these players at one point or another were first or secondary ops in the teams that they all hailed from. But as these sort of mercenaries collected under the Mad Lions banner, now with Borup added to the fray, they have looked far more composed, albeit, you know, we haven't seen great T sides from either of these teams throughout this series. But there's at least the groundwork laid out, especially and the skill capable across the board on both of these squads to really show what they're made of against some of these more established teams, these teams that have undergone those growing pains earlier on throughout their lifetimes.
Of course, I did just go back and check. forZe did actually make top 15 for a couple of weeks in early 2020 and towards late 2019 in particular. I believe that was when they won a DreamHack Open LAN event as well in 2019. Might have been Atlanta, but I'm not gonna go out and pretend like I remember exactly which one it was.
I mean, for people that weren't paying attention at the time, that they're very much in a similar position to like current day Entropic. I would liken them to. You know,
Indeed.
they showed some pretty impressive results against some top level teams, albeit right now it seems like a lot of squads in the top 10. You know, not exactly the strongest outside of like the likes of Navi, I guess now G2. But even then, there's
we don't know about G2 yet.
Exactly, there's still very performance heavy.
Yes, and right now, I mean, Mad Lions need to be heavy on their performances as well, and continuing them especially, because now that forZe has started to get a couple of rounds together, you are going to see them really be uplifted in their confidence of going for these sort of peaks, especially on players like Norby, who you mentioned, can be activated any time now.
Yeah, maybe the multi-kill round he just had will be enough to spur him on. Boost for War to try and cheat above the smoke, but another tag is found. Time from Jerry is really, really dangerous stuff. Oh, War is far too low to keep peeking that.
Exchanges leave everyone a little bit more bloodied, but no one actually dead yet. Mad Lions are still heavily committed over here towards this A bomb site. Some rotations back from the rest of forZe players will at the very least secure more grenades in their hands, and those utilities pieces are being used now.
Maybe is past the Molotov, so could actually find a timing, but he'll wait for it to extinguish. Now counter util here from Mad Lions.
Got 4 smokes for Mad Lions as well, but with so little time, it's really going to be time to start using them. Even re-smoking is going to be an option later on for the post plant, but you need to get there first. And Norby's found himself one before being traded. Zorta just unaware of War's position on his side. Jerry is all alone now that Shalfie's been brought down as well. And Mad Lions, slow ascent onto the bomb site, but one that nets them fruit.
Yeah, and they'll do well to save these weapons if they can. Trying to get away from this bomb site. They'll get their hands on both those AWPs, and Mad Lions will be successful in taking the bomb site, taking the round, and equalizing once again here at the 12 mark. But they're not going to let these forZe players go by unchecked. I guess will be critical to keeping things at least closer here on the forZe side, because you know you want to give Zorte the opportunities on that AWP. Seeing Jerry, in fact, on T side is trying to go for it, but Cole on low ground, they will be denied at least one. That's good news here for the Mad Lions. Zorte can buy his own, if that's really what he wants.
I do believe that.
Another player has disconnected, I believe.
Yeah, that's... Of course, a couple of connection issues coming through over here. We had some spice on Twitter about that as well before, but hey, we don't talk about it here. Of course, that spice on Twitter was in regards to a team that is going to be playing the grand finals in just a little while after this map. It's going to be Big Clan, who's facing up against Fnatic. Big Clan, of course, the very heavily questioned, and Fnatic, the well, the undefeated so far.
Yet, I mean, unproven as well.
Indeed.
Like, in spite of the fact that they've won as many series as they have in a row, they still have to cement themselves.
And a win over here would be massive to enable that, you know? It's especially because it's not like forZe actually got the upset out against Big, and then you can sort of discredit Fnatic a little bit by saying, oh yeah, but you know, forZe is a good team, but no, it's going to be a real matchup, and there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines going into that. Of course, we've got some fantastic analysts who are going to be breaking that down, so don't suppose we need to talk about that too much over here.
Yeah, that's true. They can't stop us, though.
Yeah? Haha, Alan, you can't talk about it now. Mad Lions, though, despite keeping things even, Michael, they have yet to actually break into a lead.
Yeah, there's not been any significant distance aside from the early force start. Like, what, we had 6 rounds in a row, and then since then, Mad Lions, of course, you know, they entered this half 5-10. The CT side, or rather this T side, has been rather good at bringing things back. You know, we saw these faster plays break into the force defenses, I think, quicker than they anticipate.
Especially when I consider, Michael, I mean, Borp's had a game in this T side. He's had a couple of really good entry frags. He's had a few very solid moments where he's going out first, even if he ends up not being able to get a kill. His willingness to go for Mac 10s in certain situations have been a pain in Zorte's behind. These are difficult numbers to justify, but a lot better when you actually look at the frags he's getting. Norby, though, aggressive immediately, wants to get involved with the MP9.
Yeah, they heard it. They heard the wooden step, so they know that somebody's around the other side, and that's why they broke down the boost. Also around the smoke, we'll find it. And that's a great heads-up play. It could be so hard to actually read into that and hear the crucial sound that's needed to make that call. You know, the smoke's blooming. There's nades coming. There's spam. Great recognition. And now with the man advantage, and we are tied up. But look at the counter reaction from forZe. It's a vacant B bomb site that Mad Lions may creep into.
And this is where they won't be able to stop the bomb from being planted if Mad Lions start hurrying up. Mad Lions in general have not been pulling the trigger on the execution till about that 39 to 42 second mark more often than not. So now that they're going in so much faster, you're not going to have anything to do about it. Flashbang's good. TMB almost catches out the retreating player, but Kenzie will be able to back off for now. Even so, forZe, I mean, the call's got to be to save.
This is safe, yeah. It definitely feels that way just because they've lost too much open territory. And while they have a lot of resources to make this work, it's just not ideal having to clear every single nook and cranny. The effective singular choke point that you can come in and retake from. They don't want any of that. So they will try to hold on to these rifles. And this is where Mad Lions can afford to hunt with a couple of these players. You can see them spreading out across the map, making sure that there's not too far a spread for forZe to maybe get kills on exits as well, because Mad Lions money ain't too pretty. You know, if they lost 3 or 4 players, it's fairly detrimental. So they'll take what they can get. Clean sight, clean round here from Mad Lions, and it all started with just a singular pick over towards that A-bomb site. That aggression from forZe getting punished. This is honestly, in spite of the fact that, you know, we're coming into this with limited information about both these teams, I've been fairly impressed with the at least clearing from all these players. Of course, they would have experienced this in sort of regular play outside of leagues or competition. But it doesn't seem like there's glaring issues in terms of making sure all these nooks and crannies are cleared out properly. Outside of maybe the one-way smoke that seemed like Jerry got away with a couple of times.
Yeah. It's gone early on. Again, advantage being gained by Mad Lions, and with War and TMB being knocked down a peg, they will be wary, but will be more than happy to make forZe sweat and go for the play. forZe as well, let's not forget, this is not the heaviest of commitments as far as the economy is concerned from them.
Jail's been doing so much work on this T side in terms of locking down any sort of B side aggression as well. So the fact he's punished them again for going for it, could really see Mad Lions convert another.
It's really Jail from Inferno coming right back. Jail and Inferno is doing a lot of very similar things, especially on the CT side, funnily enough. But now, starting to wait forward, 50 seconds on the clock, and CTs are running out of utility, and now they're running out of men as well. Shelfie down, Jerry tagged down to 9, and Waro will find Norby. So already you found weakness upon weakness, but Zorte's not one of them. Misses the second opportunity, and that's why he's all alone. Bombs up planted, yet attacked through the box is going to be nice, but Zorte is still waiting for that smoke to dissipate and waiting for the flank to activate.
Yeah, he knows something's up.
Someone's coming in, but he won't get the shot. The no-scope won't work out, and JL will once again activate to find Mad Lions at 14th round.
Man, even with him keeping that in mind, Mad Lions just so confident to slow things down. But it all starts with just punishing the aggression. JL being able to get those 2 kills as well, wrapping into the site like that. It has been crazy. We've had tech timeouts, but now attack in from forZe. They are facing a pretty scary sight because we talked about it a lot coming into this map. They were the ones that spurred this into the equation. They're the ones that allowed this into the series. And now they're on the back foot, where they're going to end up in buy, half buy territory, and they cannot afford to let Mad Lions up to 15. They have been doing such a great job of holding these defaults, where forZe are trying to mix things up on this CT side, but they've just kept on bleeding out that man advantage at the start of these rounds. Have we really seen the AWPs do that much damage here for forZe? It feels like they haven't had real activation.
Right. And best, it's 1 kill and a fair few misses, you know? And not something you expect from this lineup either.
Yeah.
Right, it's going to be shrunk, yeah? Norway's also just dead. Sorte isn't feeling happy about how these exchanges are going so far. Warrior knows where Jerry is. The smoke's dissipating soon. Jerry can back off, but he might not be ready for the late push to come through. Warrow's been a master of the flanks.
His lurk timings are second to none so far for this Mad Lions squad, and could definitely find a solid one if Jerry decides to re-aggress it. The time he's prepared for. They're backing themselves away, back over towards that B bomb site. forZe have been very rotate heavy on CT.
Shelfie's going to start to get aggressive as well. Just find some information. They do not have anything on the far side. They are purely relying on hitting their shots. Kenzie instead chooses to be the one to aggress, but it leaves mid open if he dies completely. He catches the timing. Borb turned around. Distracted momentarily, and that's going to be punished. Now, the execution coming in onto the B bomb site, but the flashes, are they going to be on point? No, not quite. Shelfie. That's only a smoke going by his side. He's found JL so far, and now that there's smokes coming through, blocking out the T's from getting onto the bomb site. Shelfie's aware of the flank, spots out the rifle, and the bomb has been dropped. They cannot win this round. It simply is impossible. Warrow getting the frags is nice, but Jerry, he's too close to the bomb. Warrow's going to make a run for it regardless, but he knows that time is out. Going through the smoke's going to be nice, but he can't get it done. Switching guns and knives and all in between. It's forZe to find their 13th.
He knew exactly what he had to do if he wanted a chance to win that round. Just like you're saying, the timing just doesn't work out in a way that allows him to get this bomb into his possession and get it planted. So running through the smoke, I mean, it looks crazy. But if Jerry wasn't prepared for it, could have been something that worked. And forZe, it's a hectic round. Even with so many things going right, you get the Shelfie performance on that AWP. And Warrow almost clutches things back. He gets the 2 kills, just didn't have the time to do it. Damn, big ADR, but insane. Not the same amount of kill impact. Come on, man.
Elliot really throwing JL under the bus.
Hey, man, he's still contributing.
Indeed. Elliot or JL? Because one of those is arguable.
Yes.
forZe. This time without the AWPs, Michael. Maybe this is where they can succeed. Of course, previous round was a bit of an exception. Finding some crucial kills over there on Shelfie's hands.
Just keep on being denied easy access into these rounds. Warrow trying to creep his way forward. There hasn't been much utility to give this one away. Nade will be a sitter on top of Norway. Everyone wasn't too far off the mark. A little deeper, Norway would be gone. And Sorte, good deployment of the smoke. Oh my god, they're both spamming so frivolously, but finding very little damage. In fact, just 1-for-1 bullets. And they're actually creeping up alongside the smokes. Warrow's found the entry. Zorte's gone.
Warrow's trying to move inside the smoke, but Jerry's already spamming away from it. He can't do anything in this situation. forZe, they've put themselves into such a good position. Borb's found out as well, but TMB with 2. They've got the advantage back for the Mad Lions. And as Kenzie gets aggressive once again, Jail will find him out. forZe are falling apart from being in such a good position. Now Shelfie all alone. A bomb being planted, a spray being transferred, but success not found. Mad Lions are on match and series point.
And you look at the money for forZe. What can they afford? Like, TMB does so much work, but it's this misstep from Kenzie. He just sails over the bomb site while Shelfie's sitting inside of a smoke. That's a miscommunication. Like, Kenzie making a play like that, he is in no man's land and exposed to every single angle. That could be a play that decides this map. Here we go again with War on his smoke antics. Oh, they're kissing. And Shelfie's turned the wrong direction. Soulful's got a double entry all the meanwhile. This is looking all too good. Soulful's got 3 while this has happened. And it's a sitting duck. Kenzie, a 1-on-4. This needs to be massive redemption, lest Mad Lions book themselves into the EPL conference.
They're falling apart, Michael. Mad Lions already getting their tickets out. Kenzie, good for 1, sure, but it's an AK and a dream without a kit. A dream without a chance. He's inching towards that bomb site, but does he realize there's a flank hot on his heels as well? Kenzie needs to pull out the play of his life, but he just can't get it. Mad Lions are heading to the EPL conference.